Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to show you a fascinating game from the candidates tournament that is taking place right now in Berlin. This game is between uh, GM Levon Aronian with the white pieces and Vladimir Kramnik with the black pieces. Game started out. King's pawn opening. Rui Lopez. Kramnik is the modern father of the Berlin defense. And D3, and this was popularized by none other than players like Magnus Carlsen after years and years of players beating their heads against the Berlin Wall. Uh, this is a popular line to avoid the early trade of queens and to keep uh, some more dynamic possibilities in the position going into the ending. Bishop c5 is all traditional. Bishop takes c6, and Kramnik plays d takes c6. Also possible, of course, is b takes c6. Kramnik prefers um, d takes, and this pawn can be captured by this knight, but a typical theme in the Rui Lopez is that this pawn is pretty much immune because of tactics like that, threatening the mate here and the piece at the same time. So d takes c6, castles first, and now the pawn is legitimately threatened. So queen e7, h3 here, and other moves are possible in this position. One is knight bd2, of course bishop e3, but they are not, not too impressive from the white side. H3 is probably the most popular. And here, traditionally played move knight d7, h6, bishop d6 has even been tried, and also the move castles. All right. However, Kramnik has been holding back this idea for a long time, and he clearly caught Levon Aronian by surprise by playing rook g8. And now that you see the move, it looks really obvious with this idea of just a kingside assault in the position. So black's idea is very straightforward looking and primitive, and it's interesting that this really hasn't been seen here. And the idea is simply to bring this bishop out to say e6 and just castle queenside. And notice how black's kingside attack is facilitated by the fact that this pawn h3, this pawn on pawn has been moved to h3, and we have this old tactic of like a hook and ladder type sequence where this h pawn actually helps black's attack along. So Aronian was clearly surprised by this. He played natural looking move rook g8. I'm sorry, not rook g8, king h1, just to get the king out of this opposition of the rook. Moves like a3 are interesting with the idea of b4, hitting this bishop. But I'm sure this is all like super preparation by Kramnik. So it's not like I'm going to refute his line here. I'm sure it's very going to be very popular, and white is going to have to do some work to to try to even continue to play this line. So another idea too is just simply knight c3 and maybe a3 b4 again, or just simply knight a4 with the idea of picking up this bishop also, which is often a dangerous piece. But even after knight c3, just simply g5 and knight a4, for example, bishop d6. But at least you got this guy off this dangerous diagonal. Let's go back. So after rook g8, king h1. So here we go, knight h5. So now the troops start rolling on the white position. c3 with the traditional plan of playing d4 and meeting the flank attack with the central thrust. g5 and knight takes e5 here. Now Aronian has the disadvantage of basically being on his own here, whereas Kramnik is in his preparation. So knight takes e5, natural move, takes the pawn, the central pawn, and has a discovered attack on this knight here. g4 by Kramnik, very strong move, just continuing with this plan to open up the king side. d4, again meeting the flank attack in the center. The flank attack with the central attack. g3, so Aronian wants to keep the position as close as possible, of course. Bishop takes e5, so there goes the knight. D takes e5, queen takes e5, and you see this pressure building up on the g3 square. Queen d4, of course, Levon will love to trade queens. Queen e7, the attacking side will have none of that, and he looks forward to again playing bishop here and rook here. h4 again, so Levon keeps the position closed, so Kramnik has to find a way to pry the gates to the king's castle open. c5 is played. It's important to knock that queen away from this powerful central square where the queen is covering so many squares on the board. So queen c4. This basically provokes black to make a good move here, and bishop e6. Maybe a little better is perhaps a move like queen e3. And maybe black can follow up with b6, let's say c4, and bishop b7, and black has to be better. So queen c4 was played, bishop e6, and now queen b5 check, which is meant by c6. Again, black is gaining all kinds of time here against the queen. Look at the development situation. And so compared to black's pieces, white's pieces are just basically can't get off the bench. So c6, queen a4. Now queen a4 has the advantage of preventing the immediate queenside castling. However, so many queen moves have been used that all of the remaining white pieces are useless on the back rank. Meanwhile, black has 4 pieces ready to smash through on the queen side. The king side. So therefore, if I'm playing this position, I'm concentrating on how can I open the position, because having those pieces amassed against the white king do no good if you can't get to the king, if you can't open the position up. So this move makes sense. f5. The position must be open at all costs, by hook or by crook. Whether you have to sacrifice, do whatever you have to do, the position must be open. Aronian plays the move bishop g5 in a desperate attempt to get developed. Right, looks like a great move, attacking the queen, but in these type of positions, you're ahead of in the development. You just smash your opponent's resistance, like Kramnik here with rook takes g5, h takes g5, and then f4. Just dynamic play, just crashing through. And bishop g5 is a tempting move because, like we said before, white is behind the development, and if you can develop with a threat, that would be fantastic. Alright. Perhaps a move like knight a3 would have been better, but then f4 is coming anyway, so it's very difficult to see what Aronian could have done there. I think Aronian might have been lost already at this point, because the king side attack of black is under in full sway, and black has all the play here. White has completely no counterplay. So I think white is already lost in this position. So bishop g5 was played. Rook takes g5, h takes g5, f4, and queen d1, another queen move. But what is Aronian to do? I mean, he was just totally caught out there. This is like all preparation. Rook d8, and he probably knew it as soon as he saw the move 7 rook g8 come on the board. So of course he stops black from actually castling queenside, but the rook comes to d8, and again all of the black pieces are engaged in the fight against the white king, where Aronian just could not find a constructive way to get his pieces in the game. Again, another queen move. F takes g3. Remember, we're just focusing on opening the position. Of course, this move right here, F takes, is not any good because knight takes g3, followed by the rook getting snatched up. So knight a3. So knight a3, but at this point, the game is for all intents and purposes over, but you have to finish out. Rook comes to d3. Desperation. Trade some pieces, right? And then Kramnik plays a beautiful move here. And the idea is basically just getting hold of this diagonal. So, for example, if e takes d5, the queen just comes into e4. King g1. G takes f2. Check. King takes f2. And you could just play a move like rook g3 here. And let's say if rook e1 was played, then you just checkmate after rook g1, king f1, and knight to f3. So this is why this bishop wasn't taken. So Aronian tries to fortify the diagonal f3. So simply g takes f3 from Kramnik. If the g takes f3, now he takes the bishop. The idea is now, of course, the queen is not gonna do anything there. However, Kramnik just simply he comes to e2, and now he's just threatening to just sit on g2 or f1 and just end the game. So here's the pin right here, but in this case the pin doesn't win. And after g2, Levon Aronian was forced to resign. So for example, if king to h2, then simply g1, queen is going to win. There's no way to no way out. Of course, if rook it's a double check here. So for example, king takes g1, and you have f2 check now, and king h1, rook h3, king g2, and then f1 check again. Double check here. So, and that is all she wrote. And so this is why Aronian had to resign in only 27 moves. So this was a brutal game. You don't expect this coming from the black side, right, of the Berlin defense with Vladimir Kramnik. But it just goes to show you preparation, no joke. In this move, rook g8. Again, you're gonna see it a lot. Now, I don't think there's like a, of course, Aronian could have probably played better. Like I said, maybe instead of king h1, probably engage black quicker with the move like a3, following up with bishop d6 or something. I mean a3 following up with bishop, with b4, and then bishop d6, something to that extent. So for example, a3, bishop d6, b4 maybe. Let's see, b4, g5. Let's say c4 with this idea here, and then maybe move like d4. Just basically trying to challenge blacks. trying to argue that black's attack on the flank is premature. So G4, for example, and this is all sample stuff. H takes G4. And of course, C takes C5, and then it just gets wild, at this point. And I'm sure Kramnik has probably looked at all of this stuff. So this is something that he's had, you know, just warming in the oven for probably years. And so he just Aronian just happened to walk into it. And what's funny too is Aronian had been playing, opening up his games with the English with C4, and then he just decided to go with E4 versus Kramnik, and boy does he regret that move. So with that, I hope you enjoyed that game. Please like and subscribe and check out the links below, and I will see you guys on the next video.